Hello, boys and girls. My name is Mrs. Pat Falvey. I was in the Air Force for 24 years and I'm known then as a veteran. I am Tala's grandmother and I live in South Bend, Indiana, and I'm delighted to be able to spend some time with you today. Thank you for inviting me. Your teacher has asked me to share a book about veterans, and that's what I will do right now. The book I'll read is Veterans, Heroes in Our Neighborhood. It's by Valerie Funstein, and it was illustrated by Aaron Anderson. Our teacher asked us to each name a veteran who we knew. She said, "Now you may be surprised, but it won't be hard to do." So after school, I asked my dad. He had amazing news. These heroes live right in our town. So many. Who can choose? There are family, neighbors, friends who never boast or brag. We all should be reminded of their love for home and flag. The man in town who cuts our hair is known as Frank the Barber. But not too many know he was a sailor in Pearl Harbor. The butcher at the grocery store who cuts the meat for stew was once a power trooper. Wow. Matt served in World War II, and Walter is a Navy man who came to fix our heat. He once fixed boilers on the ships that sailed with U.S. fleet. Our neighbor Jacqueline is a nurse who wears a uniform. She cared for wounded soldiers when she served in Desert Storm. Ernie is a firefighter. We knew that he was brave, and yet we never knew about the Air Force time he gave. And Edna, our librarian, had a son named John. He died while training for Iraq, and now she's a Gold Star mom. Our mailman is a volunteer who trains each year to serve. When duty calls, Bob goes abroad. He's in the Army Reserve. And Manny is a proud Marine who did a corporal's part. He was wounded overseas and wears the Purple Heart. We celebrate our Veterans Day the 11th of November. We show our patriotic pride and promise to remember. Our heroes' headstones wear the flag from coast to coast in May. It's how we honor those we've lost and mark Memorial Day. We painted posters of our heroes and marched in a parade to thank these men and women for their sacrifices made. But we don't need a calendar to celebrate the brave. We pledge allegiance to the flag and let those colors wave. It doesn't matter where they served, what service branch or rank. What matters is remembering them and offering our thanks. Today we learned about our heroes, a really special kind, the ones who serve America and leave their homes behind. We read about the veterans who give all they can give to keep our country safe and free so we can love and live behind. Some of you may wonder what it's like to be a military member. It's basically having a job where you're working for the federal government. There are many jobs that are just like people do that live in your town. but you do it on a military installation. For 22 years, my career field was as a federal agent in the Air Force Office of Special Investigations. This is like being a detective or a Secret Service agent. We investigate crimes against personnel and property. We do protective services. So when you see the president going to a location, there are people that drive special armor-plated vehicles, and they carry guns because they need to protect the president. Well, my first job in the Air Force Office of Special Investigations was being on the protective service detail for the highest-ranking Air Force general in Germany. And I got to drive armor-plated Mercedes-Benz down the Autobahns, which are these very long roads, and you drive extremely fast. I drove sometimes over 100 miles an hour, and I was only a foot behind the car in front of me. Of course, you don't just get in the car and do this. I had several months of training, and that's the wonderful thing about the Air Force. Regardless of what career field you're going to go into, you're going to get properly trained and learn everything you need to do your job well. I mentioned that I served in the United States Air Force for 24 years. I met my husband when I lived in Germany. We together served many places, and I have a video of all the places we served. And each assignment is on the stars that are pictured. My husband went to the Air Force Academy, and I got my commission with Officer Training School in San Antonio, Texas. Throughout our time together, our children were born, and I have a daughter, my son Tim, who is Tala's dad, and I have another daughter. Most children go to 3 schools in their lifetime as children. They go to an elementary school, they go to a middle school, and then go to high school. But because we moved around so many times, my children went to 10 different schools. That's part of what it's like being in the military and being a military family. These are some photos of Tala's grandfather. She called him Grumpy. And sadly, he died almost 3 years ago. He served in the Air Force for 30 years. He was an aircraft logistics officer. So that meant he kept the planes flying by making sure that the people who took care of and repaired planes had them working properly, that all the transportation on the bases ran well, and just anything that had to do with travel in the Air Force. After he died, he was actually buried at Arlington National Cemetery. There are some photographs of the ceremony, but as you can see, their Air Force band, part of the Air Force band was there playing, a bugler played taps, and our family was presented with the flag that was flown over the United States Capitol in his honor. This December, as in every December, there's a program called Wreaths Across America. And it's when members of the public can go and take part in a National Wreaths Across America Day, where they lay wreaths on the graves of military members in veteran cemeteries. I'm actually going to fly myself into DC on the weekend of December 7th to lay a wreath on my husband's grave. I'm looking forward to doing that. You might notice around town, if you see cemeteries, that on the December 13th, volunteers from the community go out and place wreaths on the graves of veterans. So this is another way you can honor veterans in your community. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to visit with your class today. It's been my pleasure, and I hope to get to meet some of you in person someday, next time I visit Tala. Take care, and happy Veterans Day.